Hello and welcome to episode 17 of the Livewire Game Show. Today we're going to talk about Destiny's Vault of Glass raid, which came back this week after 7 long years. And we attempted it day one and we completed it day one, so we're going to deep dive. We're going to deep dive on that today and have a chat about our impressions of it, how we feel about it, etc, etc, etc. And before we get into that, we'll catch up. So apart from doing Vault of Glass last weekend, what have you boys been up to?
Yeah, this week has been quite enough now. Actually, after the VOG,
have you recovered? That's the question. Have you recovered from it?
No,
I'm still wrecked.
Yeah,
I'm waking up with like oracle noises and sweats, and
that's just Deirdre snoring.
But no, like my sleep pattern's fucked. I'm really out of it this week.
See, I know Dale got himself a big long sleep after it because we were chatting about it. But I've just done my usual schedule of staying up till late and then getting up for work. So I haven't given myself the chance to recover. So I can really only blame myself for these bags under my eyes right now.
Oh yeah, a good solid 10-hour sleep afterwards really fucking made it. Really did.
Prick. You fucking prick.
Wow, Stephen. The hatred.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, so otherwise this week then, actually I bought Mortal Shell and Hades from the Epic Games, Epic sale, whatever it's called. I think
you know, you just like if people wherever they watch this, they'd be commenting hatred at you for buying games on the Epic Game Store. But
it's only there to get free games, Stephen. You're not allowed to buy.
There's competition. It's making games cheap. I'm gonna take it.
Either that or a key.
Yeah, but no, I haven't gotten around to playing. I did the usual thing. I opened up Mortal Shell, put everything to ultra, checked it for 10 seconds, and then closed it.
Maybe look at it in
procedure.
6 months.
Yeah. Otherwise, gaming, haven't done much. Just been dragged into doing more raids. Really enjoying it. And then just life stuff. So quiet for me this week. What about you, Dale?
Yeah, I apart from obviously the raid on the weekend, which took up Saturday and Sunday, I haven't been playing a lot. I didn't really play WoW much this week. I haven't played Monster Hunter in a couple of weeks. I started the Phoenix Rising DLC, quickly fell off.
I need to buy that.
Just in terms, not anything in reflection of the game, just in terms of, I'm just bored at the moment playing games. I think I'm kind of burnt out. I've been playing a bit of Apex, bit of Destiny, but I just have no kind of, I want to play this, I want to play that. So I've just been reading a lot this week, just kind of chilling out more so.
Dale's actually like doing something that's good for him rather than playing computer games.
Now, I'm reading about computer games.
Oh,
so that doesn't help. But yeah, I've lost all kind of drive for certain things. So I've been happy jumping into Destiny to just do like the kind of monotonous things of do your 3 this, do your 3 that, and do a few bounties and get your weeklies, that kind of buzz. But
yeah.
What about you, Kev?
I don't think I've done anything but play Destiny since.
I don't think you've done anything but raid.
Like since the season launched,
Yeah.
I've been fairly hard at playing Destiny, just full on. Like I've nearly finished my season pass.
Jesus.
But yeah, I literally think since last week it was Friday. I didn't do anything. I just chilled, and then Saturday it was VOG Saturday, and since then it's been just VOG every day basically.
Yeah.
We've been doing our Sherpas to help other people get it, get the emblem for ourselves, really.
Yeah.
But but yeah, it's just been all Destiny. I might have watched football at the weekend. Yeah, Destiny.
Which is good considering that.
Like I'm enjoying myself. Like.
Yeah,
I'm not, like,
it's not forcing yourself to play.
It's not. Yeah, it's all I want to do at the moment. So, so that's really been my week. It's just literally been.
Do you think it would have been like that without the raid launching?
It's hard to know, I
play
guess.
Towards, doesn't
yeah,
it?
like the raid is definitely amplified it
Yeah.
Like, I think even without it, I was still enjoying the content, and even last season, I still played a lot last season, but I don't think I would have been playing quite as much as I am. I would have kind of spread the love a bit more if it wasn't for the raid. Any raid for that, like, just to clear, if it was a brand new raid or anything, or if it was a reprised raid, I still would have gone hard at it, because, like, it's no secret, like, raiding's my favorite thing to do in Destiny.
And I like that, though. It's like having that raid to not even level up towards, but just it kind of rejuvenates your desire.
It really does. Like, I think everybody's been kind of feeling, like, everyone bar me, maybe. I think I've just been going through the flow, enjoying myself. But I think the rest of our core group have been kind of doing other things for the last couple of months. And even the first week or so of the new season, I don't know, I tweeted last week saying, did anyone else's day one raid team just stop playing Destiny last Tuesday? Because no one was around, but there was no reason to be. And I think that we'll talk about that a bit more when we're chatting about the raid, about the lack of having to grind levels. But I think everybody's just feeling rejuvenated for Destiny at the moment. And it is because there's a raid. And, well, it's Vaulted Glass, so I think it's amplified even more. Yeah. And it's from everybody. It's not just that core group. Like, it's new people wanting to do it. It's people you haven't heard from in months wanting to do it. It's like, I remember I was complaining on day one that I had to turn my messages off on Steam because we were in the middle of doing encounters, and in the bottom right of my screen it was just boom, 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 boom.
At 1 o'clock in the morning.
At 1 o'clock in the morning, I was just kind of like, come on, man, I'm trying to do the raid here. Like, I don't want to be a dick, but I can't be replying to you right now because then I'm not concentrating. So. But yeah, no, I think everybody's feeling a bit rejuvenated by it at the moment, which is nice. It's nice.
Whether it will last, that's another question.
Yeah, I think. Well, we'll get.
I've already gone middle class. Fuck you all. I'm never playing again.
I mean, if you want to really get into that, I'm the only person here without a middle class. You both got it. You both got it yesterday. Yeah. I didn't get one.
Yeah, we both got it.
But yeah, we'll get into maybe the longevity of it a bit more, because there's hard mode to talk about and the challenges and all that. So I think we'll get into that. For what it's worth, I didn't say it 7.5 minutes ago, but we are going to watch and chat about the Horizon Forbidden West State of Play, which is in just over an hour. So we are limiting our conversation for a change. So we will be watching.
Thumbs up from this guy.
Yeah, thumbs up from thumbs up. We will be watching and reacting to the Horizon State of Play as well, which is just over an hour away. So we do have.
So we jump in then.
Yeah, we'll jump straight in.
When we have limited time, this is when I take up the majority.
Yeah, right. I mean, we don't have to watch the Forbidden West live. If we have to pause it for 5 minutes, we have to pause it for 5 minutes. But we'll aim for just over the hour anyway. Yeah. Right, Vaulted Glass.
What is it, Kev?
Apparently, I have to give an intro to this. So, Vaulted Glass was the Virgin raid, the first raid, the whatever you want to call it. It was the very first raid that released alongside Destiny when Destiny launched in 2014. It came out 3 weeks after launch, whatever it was. And I think it's always held a real soft spot for a lot of people. It's really a nostalgic thing that people always look back very fondly, even when we were talking about our favorite raids. Vaulted Glass finished high, despite the mechanics from the 2014 version maybe been a bit straightforward compared to what we currently have and what has happened since. But it had that nostalgic factor. It was the first cut to the deepest. The first love is, I'm not getting DMCA'd by finishing the lyric. But it had that, and it was for me anyway, and I know from speaking to a lot of other people, when Destiny launched, I really enjoyed playing the game. I enjoyed leveling up because it was my first game of that type. But when I did my first Vault of Glass, it was just like, oh no. Oh, this game has got me. It got its claws. It's got its Ahamkara claws into me. It's in me, and it was when I completed the first Vogue, and I think we did it together, Dale. I think it may have been. I can't remember now, but it was just oh no, I love this game. And I'm going to play this game for a long time, and I think a lot of people have that with Vault of Glass. So basically, for anyone who doesn't play Destiny, Destiny is a live action MMO RPG game. Generally, you can play most of the game by yourself. You can play the campaigns, and you can play low-end low tier end game activities by yourself if you want. You don't have to play with people. But Destiny as a game really flourishes when you play with people. So a lot of the activities are 3-man activities or 3-person activities. But raids are 6-person activities. And raids, they're like what you get in a World of Warcraft or a Final Fantasy, but they're smaller teams, smaller scale than those massive multiplayer online experiences. So you've got combat, you've got bosses, you've got puzzles you have to solve as a team, or mechanics you have to figure out. And the first time you go through it, it's always hard as fucking balls. Because no one really knows what you're doing. The enemies hit really fucking hard. And yeah, but it's always great on day one, because it's a great experience going in blind. It's a challenge. If you go in blind, like a blind raid, there's no better experience in gaming than doing something like that with your friends, completely blind, and trying to figure it out together. Like it's an incredible experience. But yeah, I don't really know where else to go with the talking about VoG. I think I covered most things on the surface there without getting deep into encounters. But yeah, you guys have anything to add to that? Nice hitting yourself with your mic, Stephen. You didn't get away with that. Right on 11 minutes 35 seconds.
Tweet.
Yeah, like we do the raids to get gear. You get legendary gear from it, and we'll talk about the gear a little bit later on. There's like exclusive stuff you can only get in there, and armor and the guns and whatever. But like, yeah, there's no better experience than raiding, especially with your friends.
100%. Yeah, like I don't really think there's anything more to add on to that. It is to me, and I know you as well, Kev. It's the pinnacle end game activity of a story, and I just love that. It's the culmination of you're in here to do this job. You have to get through 3 or 4 bosses to the puzzles, and the encounters are obviously have gotten better over the years in terms of it's not just stand here, shoot this, multiplied by 4. Yeah, I think we should just break it down by encounters.
Cool. So yeah, I think with just to cover it. So Vault of Glass did come out in 2014, in around October 2014, but when Destiny 2 launched 3 years later, all of that content most of that content got left behind, and they've started bringing stuff back into Destiny 2 over the last couple of years. And this is the first raid they've brought back. So we didn't really know what to expect. We all had predictions of what to expect. I was wrong. Absolutely, I was totally fucking wrong. But yeah, Vault of Glass was the first raid in Destiny back in 2014. And they have brought it back and brought the level up and brought the reward levels up as well, so that it's relevant in 2021.
Which will take us into...
Do you want to add, Stephen, before we move in?
I was right, you were wrong. That's all I want to add in that.
Oh, fair enough. Right, so the way VoG works, and we're going to talk about the Destiny 2 version, not the original version, because it's slightly different, and we'll compare them as we go along. But you spawn in, you get a nice little cutscene of your fire team landing on Venus.
Not 30 FPS.
Not in 30 FPS. It's uncapped now, but you land on Venus with your fire team. You get a nice little cutscene because Destiny's a multi-planet game, and you see a big round door in front of you, and then you start to think, how in the world are we gonna open this door? So well, you do it. You split up into 3 teams. There's 3 plates scattered across the map. They're called Vex sync plates, and they're named because one of the species in Destiny are the Vex, and the Vex are kind of robotic, semi-robotic forms. That's what they appear to be. By the way, I won't get into the deep stuff about it. They're all one mind and all that nonsense. But on the surface, they're robotic. They look robotic to a newcomer. So there's 3 sync plates, and you have to, as a team, split into groups of 2 to hold those sync plates from waves of ads. I don't know how long it goes on for. It goes on for a couple of minutes. But if you lose one of those sync plates, you start again. And the reason you're building this, you're building a spire in the middle of the map, and you can see it building itself over time when you're watching it. And once it's fully formed, it sends a beam of light at the door, and it opens it up Gandalf style.
You shall pass.
You shall, and then you shall pass. So I think in the D2 version, for me anyway, so when we were spawning in on Saturday, I think we all kind of went, right, we're all 20 levels below here. The enemies are gonna hit hard, and we're fully expecting those enemies to hit hard. And we split up into our teams, and next of all, it was just the chorus of Guardian down, Guardian down,
Chaos.
Guardian
Pure
down.
chaos.
And I think in that moment, everyone just kind of went, oh, this is gonna be difficult. Because I think we all kind of went in with it. The enemies are going to hit us. They're going to be a bit bullet spongy. But we know what we're doing. Like, we know how to do these encounters.
That's half the battle, really, isn't it?
And that's half the battle of a raid is figuring out the encounter. Once you know the mechanics, it's fairly straightforward.
Just rinse and repeat.
It's just get damage up or stay alive till you get the mechanic done. But when we spawned in and those Praetorians were just killing us, like literally two shots, you're dead. And they changed up a little bit of it where they added in the Cyclops as well, which is a big massive enemy, fires a beam of light at you. But like we were just dying all over the place, and I think everyone just went, "Oh fuck, oh."
It was the whole not being able to group back up with your teammate because you were on a plate with another teammate, and it was just instead of waiting like to kind of go up together, it was just one goes up, dies, another one goes up, dies, another one goes up, dies. It was just it was very hard. Once you lose the run of it. It was very hard to get back. And
you know what? We did the first one, which was our full run through it. When we did the second one late in the night after finishing the raid to get ready for day 2 to go in and do the challenge mode, which we'll talk about that in a while. But it was that second one. It was just a fucking mess. It really was such a mess.
We had to leave and go back to orbit because we'd all lost our ammo trying to just stay alive.
And that's another thing. They were kind of cute in not putting a rally banner in that encounter because, like in Destiny 1, it was a public space and rally banners didn't exist.
And you had heavy ammo since back then.
Yeah.
But
loading in, and if your gear, like I know personally, I was changing weapons. I think every time we've done that encounter, I was changing my loadout. So I was starting off with no special ammo, just kind of 2 mags of primary and then like 20 or 30 LMG bullets in my heavy. So it was kind of like shit.
Yeah, it was really intense. Like I just remember that moment where I died the first time and okay, they hit hard. I need to adjust for this. Then you died. I was like, okay, I'll run up. And as soon as I went up, the splash damage from the Minotaur just tore me to shreds. Like, it's like, this is going to be interesting. I can't even go back up. You got up and you tried to survive. I eventually got back up. Hobgoblin, headshot. I was like, this is ridiculous. And then the Cyclops, I didn't realize the Cyclops had come in and he one-shot me. And I was like, fucking hell. You really had to be on the ball. Not because there was too many enemies, because they spawned in like groups of 3 and then the Minotaur made it 4. It's just they hit like a truck.
And there was no safe space either, wasn't there?
No.
There isn't.
Once a Hobgoblin nails you with the headshot, like Kev, you got fucking no scoped by one at one stage.
Oh, it was crazy. That was further on. That was in the Templar.
The Templar,
where he was across the map, and I think he aimed at someone else, and it just went over the head and got me. But I think it's worth mentioning, like when we were spawning in, like before it even launched. Like, we'd been chatting for a couple of weeks, like, making kind of predictions about what they would change and what they wouldn't change. So I think it was quite interesting to find that there was a lot more changes on each encounter than we were even expecting. Yeah. Like, the addition of more of the different enemy on that first encounter that was one-shotting you on day 1. It was like, good lord, they've changed this?
What's next?
What else? What's next? What else have they fucking changed in this raid?
Yeah.
But eventually we got there.
Yeah, and you know what? It's a very good opening encounter.
Oh, really brilliant. So, just to cut in on that, actually, with the opening encounter, this is a Luke Smith story. I don't know if you listened to the podcast just before the raid launch. I
Yeah.
listened to it the night before. But Luke Smith told a story of when they were designing. So when they were Destiny 1 was in development, the raid team for VoG were like a secret team that kind of worked separate to the rest of the whole team, and they didn't really share a lot of there was not really a lot of information went back and forward. So there was a bit of pressure and like, what are these guys working on? What are they doing? So they were in a presentation room one day showing off what they've been working on, and they were chatting about what's going on, what the encounters are, what some of the mechanics are to keep them up to speed. And Luke Smith was like, we have to show them something, because if we don't show them something, they're going to be like, these guys are doing nothing, they're just sitting in there getting fat and eating and all that. But he's like, we have to show something. So Luke said, get me a video of the door opening. I don't want anything else, nothing before that, just the door of the Vault of Glass opening. Give me that sequence and end it. And that's what they showed, and apparently everyone was just like, what's in there? What we want to see. So it's just the coolest. It's like, I just want to see the door, just the door. Yeah, so it's a really.
And that's what they posted on.
Yeah,
they posted on Twitter and Instagram just a couple of days before that sequence of the door opening. Yeah, it was nice.
Nice.
But yeah, so yeah, good first encounter. Really set the tone for what's going to happen.
Yeah, because like most of it occurs indoors in the vault. You work your way down into the Vault of Glass, and it's all the Vex architecture. Can I just say how wonderful it was to be back on Venus as a planet? Like,
I'd love to go around this.
I'm waiting for somebody to glitch their way through that Vex wall, because I want to go explore Venus, because Venus was the most beautiful planet in Destiny 1. And I can't wait. I really hope that the rest of Venus comes out of the vault for whatever reason, because Venus
especially with
just,
better frames and more textures and just better quality.
Like Venus is low. It's just like, for anyone who hasn't played Destiny 1 or doesn't play Destiny 2, like Venus is this. The rest of the planets, like, you got Mars, which is red. You got Earth, which is Earth. It's like whatever. You got the Moon, but then you go to Venus, and it's just this green, vibrant planet. It's just it's stunning.
It's even the bringing in the jungle, but having this futuristic building set in it.
Yeah.
And you're like, how do you even think of this landscape where there's this really relatable jungle aspect that you see in Earth, and then these completely alien foreign structures, and
because
then the skybox, you got like the comets coming down, and it was like that was a PS3 game. And like came out with PS4 as well. But
it wasn't a PS. It was a PS4 game that was downgraded for PS3. Let's be real.
Like, but you still had like, that's not something you see really in a shooter game.
Yeah,
like,
no, it's not.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
But no,
the world building.
It really is.
Level.
Oh,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. They really nail it. Like this, like I don't know if there's a space in Destiny that isn't beautiful to look at in some way. Don't think too hard about it. But like I think like with Venus, you're right, Stephen. It is that kind of jungle but alien architecture, because that's what Venus is. It's a planet that was that jungle planet that is slowly being turned into a machine by the Vex. Mm-hmm. That's what it really is. But anyway, we move on. So once the door opens, you work your way inside, and you get your first reward, which is a chest, and it opens up. You get a piece of gear from it. On day one, you didn't. You got a mod, but in future runs, you get gear, and you start working your way down through the dark corridors, and it's great. But then you work your way down to the first encounter, and it opens up into this big room. It's like, I don't really know how to describe it. It's like the Pantheon in Greece. Those big kind of pillars.
And a lot of open dead space around it that falls into nothing, basically. Yeah, it's like a kind of
Colosseum name.
Yeah,
like you've got all these stations around that are nearly like viewing platforms for what happens in the center, and the center is where, and it's and it all leads down to it as well. It's so well done.
It's like an amphitheater. It's like an amphitheater. Yeah. That's the way. Yeah, you're right on that. And it's just when you walk down it, and they actually kind of reused. I don't know if it's if they used the same room and just reskinned it, for the same asset and just reskinned it, but it's very similar to either a World's final boss, where it's that's kind of you're kind of going down to the boss. But I've actually forgot how big that area was. Like, it's so massive, and like obviously it's a next gen game now. Like we're playing on PC. Like the lighting in there is fantastic. Like it's so well lit. But yeah, you walk into that room and you're in that room for the next 3 encounters. You've got 2 encounters 3 hours or 6 hours for some people, or some people just never got out of that room. I think Praedit got a bit further, but he got stuck further down, or was it Kabir? No, I think Kabir didn't. I think Kabir. Anyway, we won't get into the lore because we don't know lore. Praedit got further down. Anyway, so you have 3 encounters there, and they each build up on building mechanics. And that all leads up to your first boss fight. So I'm not going to get too much into like breaking down how, like, we're not doing a podcast Sherpa run here, but your first one's a tower defense. It's 3 rounds of tower defense, and you're working together with your team to defend the first one, and then you got to split into 2 teams for the second 2 because it's left and right, and then you've got 3 tower defenses all at one time, so you've got to split into 3 teams of 2 people. And whatever, the enemies get harder and harder. There's waves of enemies coming to attack you. And they added in everybody's favorite enemy in Destiny 2, wyverns. So in the original game, we call them death chickens or murder chickens or whatever. But like in Destiny, we didn't have them in Destiny 1's Vaulted Glass, and that was hectic enough to begin with in the original game. But my god, they made it like if they leaped at you, you're gone.
On contest mode, it was literally AoE effect. You're dead.
Yeah, it was hectic. Like it was hectic.
Yeah. The like, I don't think I've ever been more scared of an enemy jumping than those wyverns.
Because you can see it coming.
And you know you're fucked. You know you have to run, but like running does nothing. Like poor Dan one time ran away, and the thing just tracked him, and I just sent him off. Like,
I actually think we've had bigger issues with wyverns after contest mode ended than we did during it, because I think during it we knew these gotta fucking die quick, because if these don't die quick, we're dying quick. And now it's like, we're fine. We'll shoot them. But I don't think we actually had many issues on day 1, because I actually think we managed that encounter quite well.
Yeah, I think we grouped up a lot to be like, wyvern here. We knew we had team fire. Everyone converged. Yeah.
You just burn them down very quickly.
Yeah. It was the whole like open up. One person opens them up, the other person hits the crit spot, or you just supercharge them, which is I think what me and Crowd, we had our bubble in a well, so we were safe on our side.
That was one thing I liked. It's thrown in that added kind of oh shit moment where it's like you said, it's a tower defense encounter. The towers are rotating from middle to the 2 sides, but to add in that on top of the overload minotaurs, which are a new factor as well, having the actual mods to take them down. But it's like the minotaurs were the big bads of that encounter, because they were harder to kill, but then it's like here's the fucking alpha of them, which is the big chickens. Yeah, it's nice having like it's exactly like you said, Kev. The way the encounter, you said it the other night, the way it feels like it goes on forever now, because we have nothing to kind of worry about.
Yeah,
it's just a monotonous thing of going like the opening to Crown of Sorrow. It's just, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Whereas
I think it was a good change they made.
Yeah.
I think it was a good change they made from the Destiny 1 version, where in the Destiny 1 version, when it was hard, the tactic was to go hide and just wait out so it has the 2 different phases. You have the defense phase, and then you have the legions phase, where the legions phase is the boss just sends a whole load of nonsense at you. Whereas now, you have to actively fight them, because there's nowhere to hide. Well, there is a couple of spots, but you do have to actively fight them, because otherwise you're going to get overrun.
Yeah,
I think the wyverns and the overload minotaurs they added really changed that up, because you had to go, fuck, we need to kill them right now or we're in trouble. So I think it was a good change.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed the encounter.
It is spot on.
It's tedious.
It is
Yeah.
tedious now, yeah, 100. It is.
Yeah.
I think like on day one it was like, oh, we're finished. Whereas now it's like, is this the second or the third round?
Yeah, it's kind of like
because
yeah.
there's no danger. That danger aspect is gone,
Yeah.
and it's yeah. And I think that was the first time when after contest finish where I was kind of like, this is too easy. Because
Yeah.
on day one it was like, it was hectic. You knew you had to be proactive in clearing stuff, and then after contest was lifted. So for anyone not in the know, and when a raid launches for the first 24 hours, there's a thing called contest mode, and contest mode caps everybody's level 20 levels below the raid encounters. So the raid encounters are 1320. We were capped 20 levels below it at 1300, which means everything does more damage and you do less damage. So once that is lifted at 24 hours, you're literally just sitting there with an SMG just drilling stuff down like Scarface. I think that was the one moment where it's kind of like, oh, this is a little bit too easy, but we'll go back to that in a while. So yeah, once you clear that out, you've survived your 3 phases. You move on to what's called the Oracle phase. So oracles, I don't know the lore behind them, but they appear, they let out a chime, they disappear, and then they all appear in one go, and you have to figure out which ones to kill and in what order you have to kill them.
Little balls of light.
Little balls of light. They were blue.
The lore of the oracles is actually cool.
What's it? The lore? Yeah.
They're basically
Lore Master Steve.
No, just this one. It's the only one that I know is that they're basically like time cops. So they create situations where they perceive a threat to the timeline, and they create an environment where that threat is eliminated from the timeline. So their refrain that they're doing is them trying to eliminate you from the timeline. So when you shoot them in order, you disrupt that. And that's why Atheon is times Conflux, and he has the oracles because he gets them to sing their song.
So basically, you're saying that J.J. Abrams actually made the Vault of Glass.
Yes, because there was a lot of lens flare.
Because that is what the observers are in Fringe. That's basically what the observers were in Fringe.
I haven't watched Fringe, so.
It's what Loki's all about, and that's happening next week.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
anyway,
get back to me in a few weeks.
Yeah.
So to give a quick rundown, you have 5 rounds of oracles, and every round increases how many oracles there is. So it starts with 3, and then increases by 1 each round up to 7. Now in Destiny 1, it worked a little bit different. They all just appeared, and you just had to shoot them down in any order. It didn't matter. In Destiny 2, they changed that ever so slightly. So you have to
without
shoot
telling us.
Without telling us, which was great, by the way.
I would.
Yeah.
How?
You have to shoot them down in the exact order that they appear. So that required very clear communication across the team, which was fucking great, by the way, because our team really nailed once they got going with communication. It was a bit tricky at the start. I'm not going to sugarcoat that, but once people figured out we have to communicate this, the communication was fantastic. Once we nailed what we had to do, was fantastic. So there's 7 of them dotted around this amphitheater arena, and they'll appear in the same spot every time, but you don't know which ones are going to appear, and you don't know what order they're going to appear in. So you have to call out, I see number 1, I'll kill that one, I'll see the second one, and then you do that for the 7 rounds. And I think it was when we started doing that encounter, I was like, nah, there's no way we have to kill these in order. Not. Just think about that logistically. It would, and it turned out that I was completely wrong, and you did have to kill them in the specific order that they appeared. But I think that was the moment where I think I kind of personally went, oh, they've changed a lot.
Amped this up a lot.
They have made mechanical changes here. And this is not going to... Like, I was saying that the first team is going to finish it in 45 minutes. I was wrong. It was closer to 2 hours. But it was when that happened, I was like, oh, this is... Yeah, we got to figure stuff out here. This is difficult. But once we figured that out, I think we were fairly okay. We kind of said one person would deal with clearing the enemies in the area to keep the oracle person safe, and then the other person would just clear the oracles as they'd spawn. They'd just watch for them and call them, and each team of 2 people had one of each, basically.
Yeah, and that worked, especially it's contest versus normal mode, where it feels like it was much harder and much more kind of shit. I see 3 shit, and I've got 5. I have to worry about 3 and 5 on top of being shot at, because while one person was on ad control, it was still a whole mag of an SMG would barely kill one goblin. Whereas now it's you get like you're mowing them down like fucking nothing. So you had to worry about taking damage and being in the right area. The splash damage from the Templar was fucking next level as well.
Yeah.
Which was hectic, and it was great because the more challenging something is, the more rewarding it is when you get it done. And like that, yeah.
I think when we got that done, it was the first real big release, wasn't it? Like, it was oh, we got through it. Let's go. We got this. Like, we got that. That was difficult. We got through it.
Yeah.
Because I think it's something you touched on there, Dill. I'll let you come in a second there, Stephen. You look like you have something to say. But
Nope.
I think on the oracles, after day 1, it is just, you deal with those ads, leave me alone, I'll do this. Whereas on contest, when it was really difficult, you had to help with ads and then be in the position to start reading oracles, because it previews them to you twice. So if you miss it the first time, you can recover. But if you weren't ready to watch and you were out of order, everybody died. Like, it was just literally like, Kev fucked up, we all died. Or Dill
could you imagine if we only got one preview and you were trying to balance ads? You'd be all over the place.
It'd be so difficult.
That's hard mode right there.
Yeah.
Hard mode is one
I won't
preview.
be. But like, you've also got like the snipers. Like, it's not just your like basic enemies that are like your, in a game of chess, it'd be your fucking your pawns. You had snipers as well that were able to one-shot you, that were difficult to kill because they're far away from you, but they've got these really powerful line rifle weapons that if they hit you, you were in trouble. So like, it was difficult doing oracles on day 1. I'll be completely honest. Like Tom that was with me was brilliant in clearing ads, and we both had a protective super, so that was great. But like, it was, you had to be.
If you didn't have
very
those abilities at hand, you were struggling.
Yeah, because
like in the
were
middle, we had a
feeding each
bubble
other's
and a
abilities.
tether, and we were fine. But in terms of if you're not optimized, you're struggling. And like that, if you're loading out with a sniper to take down the hobgoblins, you're fucked close range, because then you have no special. It's kind of like you have to optimize, not necessarily who's doing what, but in terms of who's doing what and what are they using, because like we were saying, it wasn't just a matter of one mag of a submachine gun would take one enemy down, and then when the big minotaurs and praetorians and all that come in, it's a different story. So yeah.
Once we figured out that Xenophage could one-shot them, we were
and like that, they
balling
were harder to take down as well, and it is timed. So if anyone's delayed, like there was plenty of times where we were kind of like, "Where's number 3? Where's number 3? Where's number 3?" I need you to like get on it, because then it just fucks up the whole flow until number 7, and you know in your head this is taking. I'd say you have about 3 to 4 seconds to take it down, and if you bridge that gap any further, you can't even play catch up. It's just that's it. It's done. It's a wipe, or get your marked by negation in the middle. But yeah, it was hectic. It was great though. I really enjoyed it. But I think it's like you said, once we figured out how to do it and nailed it and actually done it, it was just right. We have it, but we know what's gonna be.
Yeah, Steven, you had to say there? You've been quiet for a bit.
No.
I think each of the raid encounters, and I'll go into this more as we move along, but each of the raid encounters has, and it's something I thought about a lot today actually, and it's something that got Bungie a lot better at as Destiny went on with more raids, and Destiny 2 with more raids. But Vault of Glass, not Vault of Glass, sorry, Oracle encounter in the Vault of Glass is, for me anyway, it could be completely wrong here, but that's the encounter for me that teaches communication. Because that's communication you're going to need for the final boss, which we'll get to Atheon. But it's the one, like, the first one, the opening and the defend the Conflux, the tower defense. That's about building your teamwork, ad clearing, teaching you, right, this is the way we're going to work it, blah, blah, blah. But Oracles really nails, you guys are going to need to communicate. So find quick ways to communicate, because it's quick. They go bing, bing. Like it's not like you got, here's your one, here's your next one.
Yeah.
Here it's one after another. So you need to nail your sequence, especially in the rounds 5, 6, 7. You need to nail that sequence of, I've got 1, I've got 2, I've got 3, and it's literally that quick. So it really, really teaches good communication, because at the end of the day, if you have a raid team that can communicate, like, you'll eventually overcome it. If you have a raid team that can't communicate, like, you're beating your head against that wall. But if you can communicate quickly and decisively to each other, you will get through it. And I think that showed when we eventually completed it later on in Atheon. It was that communication that eventually got us over the line.
And in terms of that,
Oracles is great at doing that.
It was like, as the encounter progressed and as our kind of ability to communicate got better, like I remember at the start we were naming the locations.
Yeah.
And it was just, it's taken up too much of that bandwidth that isn't necessary. Like, you don't, like, if someone on the right side doesn't need to know that you see first Oracle on bottom left, or you see it on number 3 on stairs middle, or hidden left, whatever. All they need to know is that that's going to get got. So
yeah, they only need to know where their one is and which order they're in.
What sequence they fall into. Exactly.
And that's something that I think we got bogged down in early.
Yeah.
And then we were eventually able to just get rid of it.
But that to me is just prime example of, it's a shit show at the start. The more you do it, you find easier ways to for the ability to get that point across that you need. And it worked out. People who knew that they didn't need to talk stayed quiet, which was great. And then the people that did need to talk were fully focused at that moment, you know.
And I think that touches on a good point about our raid team, in that I'd be quite confident in saying that we've got 3 relatively loud people and 3 relatively quiet people. And lol, yes, Irish persons had 3, have a laugh. But we've got kind of half and half. And I think what that encounter did was it showed a couple of the quiet people that, all right, I've got to communicate, I've got to open my mouth up here. Because and there's nothing wrong with being loud or quiet. Like, there's nothing wrong with being quiet. But it just, in that scenario, it was like, right, we actually have to speak here. We have to communicate. And I think it really dragged them out for the rest of the raid, which was good. Not naming anybody.
All in all, it was a nice revamp from, like, my knowledge of Vaulted Glass in D1 is minimal because I wasn't a raider compared to the way I am in D2. But thinking of the differences in it, just in terms of the rotating number of oracles that you have to shoot in, if that wasn't like that, it would be so simple. And I think that's just the whole, it came out in 2014, it was the first of its kind. They don't want to overcomplicate things, but they've grown in encounters to present day. Like, but
the players have grown as well. Like, I think it's not just that the encounters have grown, it's that the players have stepped up to the mark as well.
Like,
they've both grown in parallel. Yeah. And I think that is a good point, Stephen, in that when it first came out, Oracles again was, while you're Dylan saying if it was that way now, it would be very simple, and it would be.
Oh, it's easy,
But you just use an ISA tomorrow and just take them all out in one rocket. But it was like, I think they had to advance it to what it was because it would have been very simple. Because as you're saying, the players have gotten better, so the raid has to get better with them or get harder with them. So I think it was. Well, looking back now, I should have known I was wrong in the beginning to say they aren't going to change that. Because, of course, they had to. Like, they absolutely had to, or it would have just been a breeze. It would have been a steamroll. Right. I think we need to move on, though. To first boss encounter. So, first boss encounter, we've got enemies in Destiny called Hydras. They're these floaty kind of pyramid, upside down, inverted pyramid kind of things with whatever. They're really cool looking. They've got an eye, one eye, blah blah. But the first boss is one of those, and it's got this big shield around it, and you can't damage that shield.
Nope.
You can't shoot through it. It's a big Vex shield. It can't be damaged. But there's a relic. There's the Aegis or the Aegis. I don't know how you pronounce the word. I'm butchering it both ways, I'd say. But one person has to pick that up, and they go around killing some enemies. And when they charge it up the whole way, they can fire a projectile at the boss to take down its shield, which allows the rest of the team to do damage. And while they're charging up the shield, the rest of the team are dealing with oracles again. This time there's only 3, so it's not as difficult, but you still have to kill them in the order that they spawn in. So you have to separate your team again, 3 and 3, which we did it on day 1. We do it 2 and 4 now, because it's a lot easier to survive. But on day 1, so there's 2 different ways to do the encounter. The first way is the relic. Well, the relic holder does it because it's the easiest for them. But the boss tries to teleport itself around the arena. And when it teleports, it puts its shield up again. And you have to repeat that cycle over and over again. Kill the oracles, supercharge the shield, do damage. Reset, because the boss teleports, blah, blah, blah. But you're able to block that teleport by standing in one of these rings that spawn. There's a ring. There's 4 spots in the arena that a ring will spawn. And if someone stands in it, they can block it. On day 1, in our contest mode raid, we did it the hard way. Where we rinse and repeated the cycle of shield up, teleport, shield down, do damage. Yeah. Teleport, shield up, shield down, damage. And I think a lot of teams got stuck at this boss, and we're probably lucky we didn't get stuck, because it turns out it was a lot easier if you just block the teleport. Yeah. Because we have our abilities in Destiny 2 are far beyond our capabilities in Destiny 1, and I think it's something we'll touch on a bit further on in the show, in that the habits we had from Destiny 1's VOG hindered us in this. So just little habits that you had, little throwback things you did back then, you needed to just throw them out, throw the baby out with the bathwater, and just forget about all of it, and just start from scratch. And once we figured out that we had to start from scratch, we progressed a lot quicker. So we did the hard way, rinse, repeat, and damage was an issue. Survivability was an issue. And yeah, we were there for quite a while, where we should have, if we had done it the other way, we would have done it first time. If we had not let the boss teleport, if we had a blocked teleport, we would have finished it in the first run. Like, we literally would have wiped it straight away.
Yeah, because that's what we were worried, well, not worried about. We were noticing he was getting to the enraged stage when he wasn't even below half health. Yeah. So we were kind of like, we have to be doing, not necessarily something wrong, but there's something that we could be doing to make this go a little bit quicker, or to up our damage. Because I remember one of the solutions was you were just taking down the shield every time you got your super, and then I was just relocating to wherever you were, just to get that golden gun and whatever anarchy sniper damage onto him. But that was just impossible.
I actually forgot about how we did it. Yeah, I actually forgot that we did double damage phases.
Yeah.
Because we had to. We just didn't have enough damage. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, I completely forgot. He did. Yeah. On half health.
On half health. And it was kind of like, there's no kind of damage check encounter at the end of it, so this is obviously the wrong thing to do. And yeah, block his teleport worked.
But I think on that one, they didn't change that encounter a whole lot, because it was always a DPS check anyway in D1.
Yeah.
And it serves as a DPS check in D2 as well. They changed it ever so slightly, but not in a, we have to figure this out again way. But it was we needed to just drop how we knew to do it. If we had just grouped up and just blocked the teleport and just dumped DPS into him for 60 seconds, 45 seconds, we would have cleared it so quickly. But yeah. I think a lot of teams got really stuck there,
because I remember we blocked his teleport once, because I think, Dale, you were suggesting, like, we got to an enraged phase of 50%. You said we must have to block at least one teleport to get the extra DPS in. Blocked one teleport, and then the fucking Praetorians came out and they destroyed us. We said, no, there's no fucking way we're doing this. And then that's when we came up with the double DPS phase. We're like, we'll just get Kev to keep getting the super as quick as possible, deal with oracles as they come up. And that's eventually how we did it. But like,
it didn't take long. After we came up with that tactic, it didn't take us long.
No, I think it took us like 3 or 4 goals
yeah.
after that. But the thing then, like, even think about how disjointed we were, was that like people were so separated. Like, no one was grouped up in a well dumping DPS. We were 2 over there, 2 in the middle, 2 on the right. You were running around. It was just chaotic.
It's a miracle it worked.
I can't believe it worked. Like, when we actually got it, and then when we went back and do challenge mode,
we just knew
we breezed it.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think
ridiculous.
I think when we tried it the first time blocking the teleport, we tried to block a teleport after damage was done. We just, let's just block the teleport. So we didn't have a well to protect us, or a couple of wells of radiance to protect us, or a bubble to block the Minotaur's shot. So if we had have actually given it a proper run where we say, let's just try block damage, we would have gone, this is going to work. But because of how we tried to do it, where we said in the middle of a damage phase, I'm just blocking it, it was never going to work. Because as Steven said, we were just too scattered. It was just, it's a miracle we got past that as quick as we did. Because people were messaging me like, how did you get by Templar? And I was like, double damage phases, what do you want about? But even that was just terrible. I apologize, it was terrible advice. But it worked for us, so.
But it is one of those situations where it's like, and that's the one thing I like about the day one raids. It's everyone's solution to a problem could be the right one, and it's not the whole, no, you're wrong, we're not even going to look at that. It's in terms of, okay, we'll give it a go. It'll take us 2 minutes to wipe. If it works, brilliant. If not, we've given it a try. We'll eliminate that from the list, and then we'll move on.
Yeah. I think that's something that we didn't do in VOG, and I think we kind of probably went that way because we were all thinking, we know what this is, we've done this before.
The previous knowledge.
But it's something that we said after Deepstone Crypt, that we're going to do it, that we're going to try something, it takes 2 minutes, if it doesn't work, we move on.
So be it. It's 2 minutes out of fucking 6 hours. Like,
and I think when we do go to do the new raid at the start of next year, probably, we need to take that, remember that, like, let's just try it. If it doesn't work, it's 2 minutes out of our time.
Because like that's the whole thing. Like the way you
said, it was a bit of arrogance, I think.
It's not gonna be shooting the oracles in order because that's too complicated. It's Bungie. The whole joke is that everyone overanalyzes certain situations in raids, and like looking at the fucking shadows in Last Wish and all that bullshit. Just simplify things. Doesn't need to be overcomplicated. It's to do with
the way the shadow curves on the right side of. Fuck.
But just taking that minute or two just to play it out, just give that person a bit of satisfaction, and that's one thing I like. It gives people the voice who wouldn't normally speak up to be like, what if we try this? Because they know there's no repercussions at the end of it. It's just like I said, if it works, brilliant. If not, next.
Exactly.
Speaking of next, will we move on to the next encounter?
We can do.
Yeah.
I think before we hit the next encounter, after you have killed that boss and you get your next bit of rewards, which this guy right here got a God Roll Fatebringer first try, and then spent 400 Spoils of Conquest because he hadn't realized he got a God Roll because he hadn't looked at it properly. But I still have it. It's okay. So you can go one of two ways. You can go through the big door that opens at the back and do a big kind of drop off a cliff down to the next labyrinth part, or you can follow the tunnels down. And man, those tunnels are dark now.
Yeah,
they are.
Your ghost doesn't have peripheral.
It's like
light.
A survival horror.
Like small.
Yeah, it's genuinely a survival horror.
Imagine if they bring back Crota's Fall or whatever it is, Crota's End, and you've got the bit with the lamp lights, but it's that level of darkness from.
And all
that
you're
is survival horror.
Screeching on the side.
That's for a different podcast, though. We're on a tight schedule. So the next part of the raid, we won't dwell on it too long, but it is the Gorgon's Labyrinth, is what it's called. And Gorgons are these kind of floaty creatures. But when they see one member of your team, your whole team dies. Like your team's dead. It doesn't matter if you're in the next encounter, if you're gone to the chip shop or gone to the Chinese. If you're in the if you get spotted, you're dead.
Yeah.
So
this was always my least favorite encounter.
See, I really like this on day one because again, it's going back to what Luke Smith said in that podcast all those years ago. It's the same kind of thing with the Deepstone Crypt, Deepstone Lullaby, when you're the jumping puzzle. It's that moment after something that was really tense where you just kind of go, and have a chat amongst yourselves for a minute until you get caught by your first Gorgon.
I was gonna say that they see you and you're like, oh shit, I'm back here again.
Yeah. So in the lore, the Gorgons, there's a lot of shit going on with the Gorgons and that, and Kev keeps calling them the wrong thing. But that's where Praedit comes in. So Praedit got captured and locked away by the Gorgons in the maze. And that's why he's in that room off to the side. And he's been there for centuries, and he actually died, even though he's a guardian, he died, whatever. But then Paradox, he's not really dead. Anyway, too much going on, it hurts my brain. So the trick here, this is actually like, usually in a raid encounter, you have to split your team up into maybe 2 groups of 3 or 3 groups of 2 or whatever. This is a raid encounter that actually punishes you for splitting up.
If you do that.
Because the Gorgons are floating around on very specific paths, so you have to time it right. Now, once you've done it the first time, it's very simple because you know the route. And they didn't change the route, in fairness to them, but they changed some of the paths of the Gorgons, which kind of threw us off a little bit, but we still got through it in 1 or 2 runs, so it was fine. But yeah, it's a really, like, it's a tense encounter where it's like, everyone shush, everyone be quiet, let's or group up, okay, now walk forward, okay, everyone group up here. Okay, now walk it out. Because if you do any abilities or shoot your gun or jump, double jump or sprint, they can hear you. But if you just walk it the whole way, then you can make it to the end. I'd love to see the first team. Like, I need to go watch some VODs from day 1 VOG back in 2014 of teams getting through Gorgons for the first time. Just be like, I found it! I found the exit! Because we all know where the exit is. But I'd love to see that initial reaction of people.
That was one thing I wish they changed, because
don't be a masochist.
No, but it was just the whole, we know where the door is, we know how to get there, we know we have to take this specific path, we know they're on a trajectory, if you just wait, you can go behind them. It would have been nice if they had just added an extra dynamic to that. Like, it was great having the secret chests and stuff in there.
That's what I was going to say. They changed it ever so slightly with the secret chest.
Well, just in terms of the exit isn't here anymore. And then it's oh shit, we're now stuck in the middle of the Gorgons. We have to try get back to where we started and then figure out a new path, or just wipe and then try figure out a new path. But I think that was a missed opportunity.
That's fair.
Nope. I'm happy for them not to do that. You can fuck off with that logic.
It would have been cool if they had to change the trajectories of the Gorgons more.
Yeah.
That it did force it. But I was saying it to Steven a couple of days before because he was sure they would change it. That I think that those timings are very specific.
Yeah.
It could take them a long time to figure out a different way where it actually works. So it might have just been time versus reward. It wasn't
worth the investments, really.
Exactly. Anyway,
it is, because then you'd have people being like, class, they done something different.
Oh.
But anyway.
We can talk about something they did do different, which is the next encounter, which you enter into the glass throne room. It is the Vault of Glass, and it's very clear when you walk in why it's called the Vault of Glass. It's got this big kind of pyramid design in, glass. Before that, you have your jumping puzzle. Again, it's a jumping puzzle. Platforms appear, disappear, but it's really just a time to meme with your friends and piss them off by pushing them off the edge and give out to the person who's always last down. But you walk into the throne room, and you're going to be in this room for the last 2 encounters of the raid. You've got the Gatekeeper's encounter, and then you've got Atheon times Conflux, which is the final boss of the raid. So they completely changed Gatekeeper from D1. It's still the same thing. you've got your room, then you've got a portal on one side, you got a portal on the other side. One brings you to the past version of that room, and the other one brings you to the future version of that room. With the past version is really luscious, it's beautiful, it's Venus the way it was before the Vex, and the other side is in the future where it's the Vex have completely ruined the planet, and then you're obviously in the present. We call them Mars and Venus because we like to piss people off, and that is wrong, and we know it's wrong, but we don't give a shit. It is the future. Right. It's future and past. But in the old version of it, you cleared the enemies outside in the present, and you picked up the relic. You killed the gatekeeper, which allowed you to open the portals. You went in one side, killed another gatekeeper, which then dropped a relic like the previous one on the first boss encounter. You went into the opposite side, did the same thing, and then just did tower defense in the middle. In Destiny 2, they changed that and caught everyone by surprise, where they forced you to split into 2 teams of 3, one on either side. So 2 people had to go in and start it, and then they would call where the shielded guy was. It was a shielded Minotaur, just like the shield on the first boss, which should have been a dead fucking giveaway. But the relic, or the Aegis, or the Aegis, whatever it's called, spawns outside, and one person has to go in to where that shielded Minotaur is. And then you gotta do pass the parcel because there's a time limit that you can go in and blah blah blah. But I was really pleasantly surprised by how much they changed that. Because you're basically doing 2 tower defenses, and then you do a final tower defense outside. And I thought it was it was much better than the original version. It
flows really well, regardless of what position you're doing.
And I think flow is what it does really well, because I feel like it, and I'm going to talk about this more after Atheon checkpoint we talk about it, but it makes it flow. The raid flows better because of it. Because if you look at the original Gatekeepers thing, it doesn't, the relic is there, of course, but it doesn't really do anything else that you did previous. Into it. Yeah. Whereas if you look at this one, you had the confluxes in the first encounter after coming into the vault, and you have the confluxes here where you have to defend them again from the Praetorian sacrificing. And then you have the relic, which teaches everybody how the relic works, because everyone's going to have to possibly use it if they get teleported in the final encounter. So I think it fits into the raid a lot better. And the phrase I was using was, it Destiny 2-ified the raid. Because something that the Vault of Glass didn't do, or Destiny 1 raids generally didn't do, was teach you the encounters as they go along. It builds on the mechanics. Whereas in Destiny 2, they introduce you this mechanic, and then they build on that mechanic for the rest of the raid. And I feel like the new version of the Gatekeepers encounter does that very well. It says, here's remember this mechanic? You did this earlier? Now we're going to build on that and do it slightly different. So it makes it flow a lot better for me. And it also teaches you the whole different sides of different portals, different teleports. Yeah. Which I think it works a lot better than the Destiny 1 version.
And I think in terms of flow, even just the movement of people like that, I'm on outside normally. Like, I'm the only one who's stationary, me and the other person who's outside. Everyone else is just constantly cycling through and running, and it gives it that sense of urgency that you're up against something that you have to do, and the only way to do it is this like relay race. Yeah. And it's really cool race. Because compared to everything else that you've encountered so far, this relay race it's actually kind of even interesting, just seeing on your radar who's going in, who's going out, hearing the call outs, and then everyone grouping up at the end to do the last tower defense. It's good. It's a nice encounter.
It's brilliant. It's so much better.
I like the whole introduction of, you went in the teleport with this relic. You're not going in the next teleporter with that relic.
So that made you have to change what you think.
Yeah. And just in terms of, it's gotten better as it's gone along through the years, that you can't just say, stand here, shoot this.
Yeah.
You have to participate.
Yeah.
If you just want, like, it's fine for carrying, which is grand. But in terms of, you have to be involved in the mechanics. You have to be involved in what you're doing. Just even if it's just something so simple as just run through here with the relic, hand it off to this person, let them do the hard work, and then they'll run back out. You just stand here and shoot things. But it's just that next little kind of bridging of the getting closer to being not the hero factor, but just it's taken away.
Just
the hero
stole my
factor
whole
from
point.
People. Yeah.
And
I really like that. I really like that. It's just
I was gonna say
involvement.
that it did that.
Yeah.
Destiny 1's, especially Vaulted Glass and Crota's End, it was, I'm the hero because I'm doing relic, or you're the hero because you're doing relic. This says, no, 4 of you are doing the relic, and you don't have a choice unless you have previous stance.
But that's just an example of how
it builds the team. It builds the team up.
Yeah, like someone can do 20 raids and not know how it works.
Mm-hmm.
They're just the person that goes in, stands here, shoots this, stands on this plate, does what they're told, and doesn't actually have any real connection to what the objective is, what the end goal of building up a conflux is, to keep the portal open or to keep the Praetorian off it because they're going to block the portal, and then kill the gatekeeper because they're going to disengage the portals altogether. They're just told, stand here, shoot this, and it doesn't give you that full sense of participation.
It gives you a lot more teaching opportunities. Like, as someone who enjoys sherping raids, I don't enjoy when someone comes into a raid party and says, I don't care what we do, I just want to get dragged through it. Because it's much better to teach. And I think the reprised version of Vaulted Glass has really good ways that you can teach someone how to do something without relying on them to succeed. Like Crota with the sword. If you're teaching someone, you've never done this before, go do a sword. You're on that checkpoint for several hours. Whereas this one has, right, you're going to take the relic for 30 seconds, you're going to do this very specific thing, and then you're going to pass it off. And then you're going to get to do that again. And then you're going to get to do it. So it has really good teaching moments.
Yeah.
And Stephen last night.
And
Stephen last night, there was a moment last night where I was like, I still got a countdown timer because we're trying to speed run this. Stephen, please take the relic and go in there. And you went, I got to do it at last. I now know what it looks like in there.
Yeah. But that's the thing, it's just it's giving everyone responsibility, and I like that.
I have a point to make on that, but I'll say it after we talk about Atheon or Atheon. Call it what you want. When we're raiding, I call it Atheon because Atheon is easier to say than Atheon, but the correct term is apparently Atheon, so I won't get butchered by somebody somewhere. Sorry, Biff. So
at the end of that encounter,
is your final boss. Sorry, did you have something to say there?
No, I was just finishing off saying you go through the 2 portals and then you have your central defense, and then that brings you up to the final encounter, which is Atheon. Yeah,
the big boss spawns up, has a really good entrance. What's really nice about this one is you have to start it. That's actually a really good change, is that you have to start every encounter. They don't just start in comparison to D1, but we'll come back to that. So Atheon spawns up, and it kind of builds on everything you've done so far, which I will come back to that as well, because it's the Destiny 2ifying of it. But you got your 2 portals, you're present in the throne room, the boss is firing at you, and then he chooses 3 random people to teleport. Now, just to be clear, it's a teleport through time, not through space. So you get teleported, 3 random people get teleported into one of the 2 portals. They have a job to do in there. And it's back to our good friends, the Oracles, again. So, because as Steven said, Atheon has his oracles to cleanse the timeline of what shouldn't be there. So, what changed from Destiny 1 is that previously there was 6 of them. There still is 6, but previously it was just shoot the first one, shoot the second one, shoot the third one, etc., etc. Whereas now they've changed that, and again, it's the Destiny 2ifying of it, in that the people who don't get teleported, that stay in the throne room, they have to open up the portal for whatever side the team has been teleported to. They feed them that information. But the team outside also have to feed information back in. And they have to tell them specifically which oracles they have to kill and which order those oracles have to be killed in. So there's 6 in total, but only 3 spawn each time. But it's the sequence that's right. Because again, if you get that sequence wrong, you die. The whole team dies, not just you. Your whole team dies. So you got 3 waves of 3 oracles per build up to damage phase. So you've got the relic again, the Aegis that cleanses that because everyone that gets teleported is slowly going blind. So you keep the cleanse up, so your team don't die, and you work your way back to the portal and outside, and then you do your damage to the boss. And I think this was where most teams that attempted day one got stumped, was just getting damage done to the final boss. Yeah. Like we fiddled around with stuff quite a while. We tried out a few different things, and we had a couple of bugs that slowed down our learning. But I think the one thing, once we kind of knew how to do the raid. We knew the overall idea of what we had to do in the encounter, but getting that damage up was the difficult part. And then it was exactly like we said it was going to be, in that one of these runs we're just going to do 40% damage, and then we have it. And that's exactly what happened at 2:45 in the morning.
Yep.
But yeah, like for the first end boss of the first raid that they made, the reprised version of it is one of the most mechanically active for the team encounters that they've actually had to date. The only one that I think is more mechanically heavy is probably Last Wish. In terms of the team having to do something, not like one or two people. Everybody has to do something, apart from debatably one person doesn't have a job when, if they don't get teleported, one person can kind of float and just keep people safe.
There's no hiding away from responsibility.
Yeah, there's no hiding away. And I think one thing that I really noticed when thinking about this, in comparison to other raids, there are far more opportunities for one person to skew an entire encounter than in any of the other raids that we've had in Destiny. You shoot the wrong Oracle, you're all dead, or you have to cleanse. You get detained, you kill your whole team. You call out the wrong order, you're dead. You forget to cleanse, they're blind and they're dead. So there's a lot of spots in this raid that really one person can ruin everything. They pick up the relic and they die with the relic in their hands, you're all dead. So yeah, there's a lot of situations that can really fuck it up.
And that's one thing I did like, because there was a specific moment where there was three of us that were doing the call outs, the corroborating with whoever gets teleported, what ones they have to shoot. But then the raid just fucked us over and then teleported all three of us who were the communicators. And then it's kind of like, right, someone has to step up.
And the colorblind guy did it.
Huh?
And the colorblind guy did it.
I couldn't see it. Just in terms of, right, we're gone. There's no like shying away. It has to get done. And perfect example, first time or two was a complete panic, but then as it went on, it was perfect. It was the whole, I don't know what to do. Well, what do I do? How do I do it? And then just wipe. But then the next time when it happened, because it did happen a fair few times, where the three of us got teleported, and it got better, and it worked, and then it was fine. And now every run since, it's like, irregardless who gets teleported, it'll get done. You know?
Yeah, I think, Stephen, you have something to say there. I saw you try to come in a couple of times. Go on.
No, it's fine. I was just going to agree with Dale. Like, I shied away from it on the first night because I was afraid of getting the mixed calls. But now it's like, if I see that someone isn't going for it, I'll do it and I know what to do. And it's a good experience to know, because I think I never had to step up like that. So it's nice that the raid teaches you to do it.
I think from watching, not to shit on anybody's raids or anything like that, but I think something that our team did really, really well on the first day in comparison to some other things that I was watching or saw, even high level ones, we all saw Frostbolt's fucking Oracle callouts, but I think something our team did really well was nail down what we were going to communicate. So we gave things. Now, other people may think that our callouts aren't the best ones and there's better ones, and you're right and you're wrong. There's no correct call out.
But that's the thing. There's no right or wrong. It's just whatever works for you.
Whatever works for your team. Well, there is one wrong thing. Jumping to the back of the fucking door is stupid. But like
1 minute.
I know we're gonna pause it. And we've still got plenty to talk about. I'll just pause it and go back to it. It's fine.
That's fine.
But I think one thing our team did, all 6 people knew what the callouts were, and I think getting that right meant that we were constantly getting through the phase to DPS. So it just meant that we could figure out what was going to do the best DPS, and once we figured that out, it was a matter of time. And it was something that I said several times throughout the raid was, we need to not worry about getting our damage right. If we can get everything else right, the damage will come with it.
Yeah.
And it did in the end.
And that's one thing, especially with, I find the what are they called? The raid layers in early D2 was that it was harder to get to the DPS phase rather than do the DPS phase. Whereas this was the opposite. It was like balanced. We had it down. Balanced, yeah. It was perfect getting to it. We just had to figure out what to use. And especially like Spire and Eater, it was just felt very like, if you didn't get a 1 phase or a 2 phase, it was like, holy shit, how are we actually going to get through another whole segment of rinse repeat to get back to the DPS? Whereas this, it was like, it has a quarter health. We have it. It's done, you know.
And I think something that Atheon encounter does really well in comparison, because it teleports 3 random people, you're not doing the same job every single time.
Yeah, you've no choice.
So, for example, I could be calling oracles 1 round because that's just how I do. I take on whatever the important job is. It's naturally just what I decide to do because people generally shy away from it. So if you have someone who's willing to embrace it, at least one person. But 1 round I could be doing that. The next round I could be doing relic because I was teleported. The next round I could be shooting oracles, and so it changes. It keeps it fresh. That it's not like, I have to go through all that again. It's it's fine. Let's go. We're fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that, and I'm gonna include it at the end of this whole thing. That moment we finished it and the release of everybody is like getting that finish of a raid for the first time. Never mind on day 1. It's a great feeling. It really is.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, I paused mine at 20 seconds. For Horizon.
Oh yeah, for the Horizon.
All right.
We'll get to that. We will get to that. We have a little bit more. We'll spend another 10-15 minutes maximum, then we'll move on to it.
What I will say about the Atheon encounter before we move on is that I think we had, as you said, we nailed our communications. We knew our rotations. We knew the process of how to go from start of the encounter to damage phase. The problem was then we had to get through DPS, and our DPS was lacking. But what I really liked with that encounter was that we were actually able to. I'm speaking for myself. Fuck off. So from that, then we were able to kind of like, because we could see the wipe screen, we could see who was doing DPS and who wasn't, and it was me falling behind. But we were able to make really quick changes where we say, if I spawn in, I'll always take relic. So I just said, if I spawn in, I'm calling it, I'm taking relic, because it meant the worst DPS person was automatically removed. Everyone else was in it. And you could make those subtle calls to what you're doing without actually changing the whole process. Like everyone still knew how to kill oracles. Everyone still knew how to do call outs. Everyone knew where to go to group up and where to jump out for a relic or for detainment. So I really like that. Once you nailed the mechanic, you can make all those changes on contest mode without actually being penalized, because I think with Templar and stuff, we got fucked with Minotaurs.
Yeah.
In other ones, like, things punished you where you tried to make subtle changes. In this one, we just had it. We knew what we were doing. We just had to get the DPS. And it was such a great feeling knowing that on the day, that we weren't struggling with the mechanics. We were just struggling with killing the boss in time.
And that happens. That's day 1. That happens.
But I think we did that really well. It's exactly like you said, in terms of you're going to pick up the relic because your DPS isn't bridging the gap enough. And it was the same when Kev picks up the relic. We're missing out on his bubble because he's the one that's rushing out last minute. If me or Dan picked up the relic, you were missing out on the 2, potentially 3 golden guns in 1 damage phase. So it's not about one person doing less than someone else. It's like, let's give the person who's doing the most ample opportunity to do the most, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, recognizing the potential and saying, here, this is where you're best. You do that, and someone else will do this.
And sometimes that's not even down to the person; it's down to even the class that they're playing. Because Titans, for example, they like in that encounter, there's no big DPS output super wise from a Titan, apart from Thunder Crashing. But in contest mode,
Better
you're
than
not
Goldie.
fucking Thunder Crashing nowhere.
I don't know. I'm willing to try it on hard mode.
See in September or January. But yeah, it was one of those things we were fairly good at addressing what needs to happen. Instead of just, I remember being on the amount of LFG encounters for Last Wish doing Riven. It was like, it was so small of a, right, that's only 100,000 extra damage. What are you doing? Instead of like, there was no clear cut thing to do. It was just everyone's using Void Cluster Bombs. Everyone has reserves on. Why isn't it dying? Whereas this was opposite, where you could make changes to better that DPS, which was really good.
So we move on to talking about to day one. We'll cover the rest of it fairly quickly. But I think I have my opinions on day one and on contest and etc. But Stephen, it was your first ever day one raid. Me and Dylan have done day ones in the past. It was your first ever day one raid in Destiny anyway. I don't know if you've done it elsewhere. But like, how did you find the whole experience? Like,
it was just mental.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna talk about how I feel about it because but I'm just interested how someone who hasn't actually done it ever feels about it now.
It was stressful. Like that first encounter and just dying constantly. I just remembered the sense of like, fuck, the guys have picked the wrong person. I shouldn't be here.
We knew that already. Don't worry.
Yeah, I know. But it was obvious. That was the problem. But as well as that then, like, I knew in myself I was getting in my head because people were saying things and
like, Steven, what the fuck are you doing?
See, you were a bastard because you were calling me out, but I didn't mind that because you were actually addressing me and you were like, you need to fucking do this. I just said, I do. I know I do. I'll do it.
Yeah.
One person made a comment to someone else and they were like, you know why I'm dying. And I was just looking and I was like, I'm the only other fucking person here. You're basically saying it's because of me. And that shit pissed me off because then I was like in my head again going, okay, I know Dill is giving out to me because I'm stuck with him or he's stuck with me. But does everyone else think the exact same thing? And is this going to be an issue going forward? And thankfully it wasn't. I think it's just the stress of the environment of like, we're getting hit harder than we normally would. People are getting annoyed at themselves for being caught. Like you're literally caught out most of the time. It wasn't that you were,
bullshit.
It was generally splash damage, or you were running and a hobgob just said "fuck you," or you just got overwhelmed because you just weren't clearing them quick enough. And I think after a couple of times with Templar, I realized like I need to relax a little bit, and like everyone was dying, everyone was having issues. It's like I just need to be my best, and that was fine. We got to Atheon then, and things were like, oh holy fuck, this is hard again. But we got into it and it was fine. And then I just remember finishing it, and it's like Dark Souls. It's that you grind something, you bash yourself against the wall for hours, and you finally beat that one thing that has been consuming you for the last, we were 8 hours, 20 something minutes doing it.
That was, just hitting 9 hours.
And just to finish that, like Deirdre had just gone to bed, so I couldn't scream. But I was just like, it was just felt.
I remember that moment as well because I think it was me giving out about something. You were like, I know.
But it was just so good.
I think one thing that it's a couple of things about our team, and that I think we need to be braver with doing stuff and trying stuff, and B, if you're doing a specific job, and it's not necessarily our core team, but if you're supposed to be doing something, you need to only worry about doing your job and not worry about trying to do what Dylan's trying to do or what Dan is trying to do or somebody. You do what you're assigned to do, because if you can do your job right, then it's not your responsibility. If the fuck up happens elsewhere, That's not on you.
Yeah, and I think as well, one thing that I found, and it was mostly in the Atheon encounter, was, and you called it out rightly, Dill, was communication started dropping a bit.
Oh yeah,
because
there was one example where,
there was an example where an oracle was shot out of sync, and the people on the inside, me being one of them, I saw that the oracle was shot wrong, and I know for me, I was too slow. I should have just went and shot the other, but I had lost where I was. Someone else shot the wrong oracle, and then Dale was like, I called that out right, what the fuck happened? And then there was silence, and you said, well, clearly I'm calling them wrong, so I'm out. Then I had to jump in and go, no, you were right. We just shot the wrong one. And then you were like, well, then fucking tell me. Communicate.
That's all it takes.
That's the whole thing. It's just eliminating one issue so you can move on to the next one. And it's like you said, the pressure of, if I fuck up, it's detrimental to the rest of the encounter. That's not just you, that's everybody. And it was probably, like you said, it became more clearer to you when you saw everyone else was fucking up. We were giving out to everyone equally, because it's like everyone's at this level where if one thing fucks up, it's like, instead of just going through the motions and trying to recover, you're better off just wiping and start again. And it's just unfortunate that as the night grows on, that just gets more tedious and fucking but it's nothing personal, and that's the best thing.
That's it. It's never personal.
It's not personal. Never.
It's the encounter.
It's just frustration.
Yeah, and that's it. It's just, you want to know, like me, I wanted, if I was doing that wrong, calling out the oracles, I just wanted to take myself out of that situation. And I hit a really low point at around that time where I was just like, I just want to go through the motions. I don't even want to talk. But you have to talk. You have to communicate every single thing. If you tell me every detail about you taking 2 steps forward, shooting this oracle, taking another 2 steps forward, doing that, I don't care. Once you're confident in what you're doing and communicating what you're doing, so someone else knows, this is me, that part is being done, I'm the next step, you know?
I think one thing that good communication does as well is keeps you honest. Like,
there's no point lying about something.
And I think that's exactly like the point that Stephen, the time that Stephen said there, is that like Dill called out the oracle. And Dill was like, I know I called it right, and it was just radio silence. But it was just when Stephen went around and said, "No, Dill, you were right," and Dill went, "Why didn't they just say that?" And people went, "Yeah, we probably should have." Like, it just keeps people honest rather than going and hiding and
And I think when that happens,
and I think, just to finish that point, actually, I think that's why, like, there wasn't I think in Deepstone Crypt there was quite a bit of butting heads when we did it, and it was because it was our first day one raid as a team. But I think in Volg doing it, there was only one situation that I can remember where 2 people collided, and it was me and Dill collided. And it was because we were both in the wrong, and both of us knew we were both in the wrong, but we just kept fucking arguing it. And after a while, it was just kind of like, oh, you're a dickhead anyway, and just moved on from it. It was fine.
Yeah.
But I think because our communication was quite good for a lot of it, that butting of heads didn't happen a lot. There was a couple of moments, but it was let go because communication keeps you honest.
And even, like, just to say afterwards, I had to leave. I couldn't do challenge mode. I had to leave at Atheon, so you guys thankfully got a 6 and finished it. But like afterwards, everyone was tweeting about it and tagging me, being like, wish you were here, and like that was even just to get that. I was like, this is great. Like I felt like I was part of the team.
You did the hard parts of it. It was
you literally missed out on the
DPS checks that we were getting. That was it. There was no other issue, and it is just unfortunate that with the contest mode, you had to run it twice. Yeah. And like our first day one, we started at 6, we finished at 6. It was a good 12-hour slog. There was talk of 2 o'clock in the morning, let's call it for a few hours, but you're in that moment, you're in the right mindset. It's just like, let's just another 3 or 4 hours, we'll bang it out and we get it done. And then the relief is there. But this was, right, we've done one part, we have to go to sleep, and we have to do another part all over again.
And I think that's a good segue.
Just unfortunate.
I think it's a good segue into talking about challenge mode, because we're all gonna. I'm pretty sure we're all gonna say that contest mode needs to be a thing. It's great that it's a thing because after day one, it's too easy. We'll talk about non-contest in a second. Challenge mode. How did you feel about it for this? Like, I know my personal feelings are for this. It worked. It caused some unfortunate situations, like Stephen having to leave after whatever it was, 14 hours total, 13 hours, whatever, and he literally missed out by 45 minutes, an hour. But for the new raids that come out, I hope they don't do this.
Like, if they had have left it as it was and not brought in the changes in terms of oracles have to be shot in a specific order, the gatekeeper encounters different. If it was just as it was in 2014, I completely think it would have been done in an hour tops from the majority of people, not just the stacked teams, but across the board. And then it would have been like, right, the real raid starts now. The extra challenges, contest mode is on. This is the big shit. And you would have been starting that 7:30, 8 o'clock in the evening for us. And then it would have probably given us
that's
that
what we
bit
were
of,
expecting.
Yeah, but it would have kept us from, say, we got towards Atheon at 3 o'clock in the morning. We would have said, look, we'll get this done by 6, we get it done by 7, and we'll knock it out.
Yeah.
But I think it was just long-winded. Like, the fact that it took us 8 hours to get through, or sorry, 6 hours. 6 hours to get through one run at normal without contest or without challenge mode active was a bit too much. It turned it into a 2-day thing for us.
I think what was funny about challenge mode, just before Steven comes in, is that challenge mode was actually easier than contest.
Yeah.
Because we'd done it all. We knew how to do it all. And then it was like, Templar, we killed that for a second try. And then it was literally just, right, Steven has to go in an hour. Steven has to go in 45 minutes. Steven has to go in half an hour. And I think that pressure kind of got to everybody. In that silly mistakes that happened, because we knew he was going to miss out if we didn't get it done. And the run before you went, we nearly fucking had it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how... I still don't know how I feel about the challenge mode, though, personally.
I think challenge mode would have been great if it was the only run that we had. So with all the changes to the encounters and including challenge mode with contests on, that would have been a really good day one completion, because not only are you contending with the new mechanics, you're then also trying to figure out how do you do the challenge mode. So in Atheon you have to kill the oracles in the right the right order, but you can only kill one each round. So you're trying to add in a new layer on top of the new layers that you're learning. So I think that would have been done. If that was done that way, that would have been a really good one. The 2 raids is too much. Having to do that raid twice, it goes from being a 24-hour challenge to a 2-day challenge, because you probably would have just set up and went, as Dil said, it's 3 o'clock, we're on the last boss, we spend 3 to 4 more hours, we'll get it done. If not, a couple of hours sleep, finish it. It was a case of like, it was 2:30, we're like, right, let's open the vault door again, go to bed, and then we have to do this all again the next day. It wasn't a boss, it was all of it. And I think that was something.
I think our time zone doesn't help us in that either.
No.
Because obviously if you create content full time, you can afford to skew your sleep schedule for a few days and sleep till 4 o'clock on that Saturday, get up at 4 o'clock, and then you're good to go for 24 hours. But it started at 6 p.m. in the evening. It's 6 p.m. our time. So by the time we got our first run finished, people were exhausted. Like, it would have been just unhealthy to go again for the second one. So, like, while I think this probably did need something, I don't think future ones should have it. And I hope they don't do it. Now, they could have some sort of challenges in there that you can do, or it's there, challenge mode is there until the first weekly reset. That's fine. Yeah. I'd be all for that, by the way. That'd be fantastic, Bungie. But having the challenge mode in the 24 hours, I don't think they
knew it was going to be hard.
I think they underestimate, because I think this is the first time Bungie have gone, okay, our players are fucking serious. Look what they did in Deepstone Crypt. We need to make this up the amps here. And I think looking back, they will probably go, maybe we went a little too far with the challenge mode, having to do that. And they'll learn from it. Of course. But I do
Like-
hope for new raids, I hope they don't do it. And I think if
Yeah.
King's Fall came back, they wouldn't do it because it's too long.
Yeah.
But I could see them repeating this for Crota's End if it ever came back, and for Wrath of the Machine if it ever came back. Please
like
bring that
in
back.
terms of like just an example, if you had have done the Oracle encounter, if you had a choice to restart that encounter and implement the challenge, like the way when you're doing flawless in Crown or wherever, you had to activate the flawless. So if it was something that after the encounter you have the ability to activate the challenge mode and then do it again straight away, I think that would have made it a lot like you said, we flew through challenge mode in terms of time. So just after getting through that encounter, it would have been like it's fresh off the bat. We know what to do. There's just this one or two extra changes. I think that would have kind of helped in the pace a little bit, maybe. But
Maybe it's we never know.
yeah,
I do like that those challenges are what's going to come back later in the season. So the weekly challenge rotation that goes on. It's going to be those challenges for the double chest. They're all fairly straightforward. I especially liked the Oracle challenge where
we're only one
you
person.
literally-
The rotating.
You rotate around the map. I really enjoyed that one. That one really.
And that's another thing where no one can
please
shy
me.
away from it,
No.
because if
Everyone
you didn't
has
do
to.
oracles, you were on ad control. You have to do an oracle now.
It really
No
showed
choice.
up weaker teams. Not to be a dickhead, but it did show up weaker teams. That couldn't get it finished. And
I wouldn't
that's
even say-
life. That's just life.
Just teams, like
Just teams. In
just
general.
individual positions as well. Like me and Steve were in middle. Steven's probably never seen the left side. Kraut's probably never seen the right side. And then it's having to put you in that situation where it's like, I know where the oracle spawned, but in the heat of the moment, when you're getting shot by these ads that do extra damage to you, you hear that bing go off, and you're just instinctively, you don't know where to react to look, and then you're in the middle of that chain, and people are waiting on you. It was hectic, but I think we got it fairly quick as well. I think it was only
I think we did it
something.
first and second try. Yeah, 100%. Just I think Stephen, do you have to say on challenge mode?
I'll just say that I props to Bungie for the auto wipe mechanic when you don't do the challenge. That was great. Yeah.
I think they should do that. I think
Not waiting on the chest to pop
no,
up.
they shouldn't do that because then it forces people to do challenge mode. Anyway,
But just if
I
you're
think-
just to select it, but it was
I don't
good to
think
have.
so. I just think the I think on day one it was fine because you had to launch that raid specifically, challenge raid. But I think go forward, it's fine to just have it the way it is. I think there needs to be a conversation about non-contest raids though, and I don't think we have enough time to talk about non-contest raids here. But it's an issue, and I don't want to.
It was piss easy after.
Yeah, I don't want to sound arrogant or I don't want to sound big-headed, but like going in after reset on the Sunday, it was just like Lamau that died with an SMG. I had to put like a full mag of sniper ammo into its face to kill it yesterday or an hour ago.
Yeah.
And I think Bungie have really nailed day one raids. Deepstone might have been a bit easy. That's the debate, but I think in general day one raids are very challenging for the majority of teams. And that's great. Contest mode's great. But I think non-contest raids, so just the base version of them, they're just too easy. Like, and it's not even about ad density. VOG has lots of ads coming at you. It's just they just die so quickly. And I don't know what the fix is. Maybe we should always be capped at 10 levels below. I don't know. And I think it's an issue that has come. I don't remember it being an issue in Destiny 1 because I think there's multiple
we had
factors.
the normal and hard.
Yeah,
didn't
but and we had normal and hard, which maybe hard mode VOG will alleviate this issue. Maybe it will, and then I'll be my criticism doesn't matter because then it literally is. And this is the normal version, so it'll be a bit easier. But I think it partially is to do with the leveling system now. Like in Destiny 1, it was level 29. Then you got to level 30, got a damage buff. Then you got to level 31, got a damage buff. Whereas now it's you're 20 levels above, and you just rinse everything. I think maybe it's to do with how the numbers work. I don't know, but I do think something like it's just, and I don't want to take away from anybody that finished Vault of Glass after reset on Sunday. GG, she's still like, it's great. You got a raid done. It's not easy getting 6 people together to work together to do something, but it just needs to be looked. It needs to be looked at for the next raid that comes out, because it's just not that it takes away the experience, but it's just, I don't know. Like, you'd still burn through it. Like, we do it in 40 minutes now, 45 minutes tops.
It's a fine line.
But I think you'd still do it in 40 to 45 minutes, but you'd have to be alert and active.
More
and
efficient.
Proactive and doing stuff and more efficient. Whereas now it's just kind of like, haha, machine gun go brrr, and it's easy. Like,
I do like that.
I still love it, but yeah.
It's the pinnacle endgame activity. I do like that idea of being capped so many levels below it. That I do like that. But then that falls into the whole, we want it to be attainable for LFG teams and blah blah blah, and the loot should be for everybody and not just.
The thing is, these people still
end.
don't do it. That's the thing. They still don't do it, even though they've made it easier. I guarantee.
I think normal versus hard is the best option.
We won't know about it until we won't know until hard comes out.
Yeah.
But like I say, I jumped into a prophecy last night. I jumped into prophecy last night, and prophecy was harder to stay alive in than VOG is, and that's 200 levels
Prophecy's
below me.
difficult.
It is. So it's like there needs to be a balance here. Like, I don't know what the fix is. Maybe so. It's something that I spoke a lot about when Deepstone Crypt came out, and that Deepstone Crypt was very finely tuned for day one, and Vault of Glass was very finely tuned for day one as well, and it was tuned for a 1300 level Guardian. However, most of us started this season at 1310.
Yeah,
I think it should have been tuned for a 1310 Guardian, which would mean on day 2 the raid would be 1330, but we would still be 1310, 1315, 1320, because not everybody goes and farms the artifact. So if you were still, so on day 2 I was above the raid level, but if I was still below that raid level, it might have been a little more difficult. So maybe that's one of the, I don't know what the fix is. I'm not a developer. I'm an I'm a Secret Labs gamer chair developer. I don't really know.
One fix creates 2 more problems, and that's just another line.
I just want a challenge. I just want it to be a challenge. Yeah. Without having to artificially lower my light level.
Yeah. Blue weapons only.
Or just let us launch contest. Just let us. Yeah, it could be hard mode. Hard mode might fix all this, and if that's the case, then Kev's gonna eat a sock, and that's fine.
But in terms of now, it's like, right, we have an hour and a half. We can run 3 raids.
It's nearly half.
No, clip that. I want to clip that for when hard mode comes out, so you have to eat a sock.
Oh. Well, I said I'll eat my sock because I hope I'm wrong. Not because I will be. Not. It's not the case of if I'm wrong. It's a I hope I'm wrong. So I have to eat it. But yeah, I think that needs to be looked at. But that's a deep conversation.
Yeah.
We'll touch on a couple of quick things. What's your favorite encounter? What's your favorite weapon? Just quickly, no reason for it. Just spitball it out.
Fatebringer.
Yeah,
I really like
100%.
Found verdict or corrective measure as well. The LMG is fucking beast, and I haven't even got a good roll on it.
I haven't shot mine yet, actually.
I think I have like Feed and Frenzy high impact. I haven't even got Firefly, so I'm just waiting for the day that I get that, and it's just gonna be like explosions galore.
And your favorite encounter?
Squad. Favorite encounter is, you know, I really like Atheon. I like the implementation of the oracles, the communication between the present and past / future. It's a really nice rotation. I really like that. It's fast paced. Everyone, once you start, you're not stopping until DPS phase. It's not do a job, stand here, wait for 30 seconds, do a job. It's a good circle. That's my favorite.
Stephen?
Fatebringer and Atheon.
Fair enough. I think Fatebringer, definitely the role I have is delicious. Like explosive rounds, Firefly. It's the D1.
Yeah.
It's the D1 one. And if you combine that with the artifact mod, the bottom right one, the class item, it's insane. So obviously, yeah, I was like, I think everyone was a bit nervous about Fatebringer if they'd bring it back and it'd live up to what it was back then. They nailed it. And my favorite, I don't know what my favorite encounter is. I don't know. Like, I think in just the raid itself, I really like how they changed Gatekeeper. I think it makes it a really fun encounter, as opposed to before it was very just arbitrary. But Oracle Challenge Mode, I think, is fantastic. I really like Oracle's Challenge Mode. Just that rotation. And I'm going to toot my own horn here for a second, but I loved my idea on day one in that we moved everybody one side over, so that on the long round of 7 oracles, we finished on the side we were used to.
In a familiar
spot. So for the difficult one, you were in the familiar spot. And it was just something I just, on the fly, I just went, this might work. And it worked a charm. Anyway, yeah, that might do. We're not going to talk about review of the weapons and armor. We've kind of touched on that quickly. I'll just delete that from the agenda. Last thing I think I really want to talk about real quick is D1 versus D2 VOG. We've talked about it a lot already, so we don't have to delve into it too much. But it's something that I kept saying to you guys today, the Destiny 2ifying of Vaulted Glass. And I think D1 raids versus D2 raids is... D1, the encounters aren't really linked. I think VOG kind of does it. Whereas D2 raids, it is the whole, here's the mechanic... or here's 2 mechanics, and we're going to build on it, and build on it, and build on it. And D2 is brilliant at doing that. And I think this version of Vault of Glass is especially good at doing that. Think about it. You're opening the front door, you've got the sync plates. You have the sync plates on Atheon. First encounter Confluxes, it's the tower defense. You have that kind of links in with the sync plates, but then you also have that at Gatekeepers. It's a more advanced version of it. You have the relic, which Templar, 1 person knows how to use it, but once you get the Gatekeeper, 4 people need to know how to use that, which trains 4 people to do it on Atheon. 3 people get teleported, so if 4 people know how to do it, you're guaranteed someone who knows how to do it has gotten teleported. Oracles, you have to learn how the orders of them spawn, you have to learn the communication, and that starts at the Oracle phase, it goes through Templar to Atheon. And it really teaches people to communicate those orders. And it means that everyone is aware of how that order works. So it doesn't matter who gets teleported. Everyone knows how it has to be done. And then, obviously with the relic, with taking down the shields, it also works very well that it teaches you how to do that. So I think there's a lot there that this version of VOG does a lot better than the original to... And it makes it really easy to Sherpa. Like, we did 7 Vaulted Glass raids last night. 7 of them had someone that... 5 of them were brand new, fresh Sherpas. 2 of them were they had done it once and needed a bit of just... refreshing.
Reminder. Yeah.
But we only wiped once all night. 1 encounter we wiped all night, and it was the very last Atheon encounter. And it's because this numpty here jumped off a cliff with a relic in his hands. But that happens. That it's a mistake.
Okay, or 2. Yeah. Ping!
Yeah, but I think because of the way this version of VOG... I know I'm talking a lot here, but I know that this version of VOG builds on its encounters. It makes it very, very easy to teach people how to do it. Because they're doing everything a couple of times before the final boss. So by the time you get there, all you have to make sure people know is which call out is which. That it's the left port, the oracle above the left portal or the right portal, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's all you need to decide. Yeah. That they know how to do all the mechanics, and it really makes it really fun but easy to teach. So really props to Bungie for the changes they made, because it really made it great.
It's not making it difficult for the sake of being difficult. It's actually just throwing a different spin on it. And I really like that.
Yeah. Well, that's the other side. They made it really fucking difficult on day 1. That's also great. But in terms of the mechanics, they nailed. Like, I kind of wish that was the original Gatekeeper and the original Oracles, because it makes so much more sense. But obviously, they learn as they go. We're better players.
It's what they learned over the last few years with their new raids. Yeah, because everything has to be better than the last.
Yeah. I didn't expect them to change it as much as they did change it. And while they made changes to pretty much every encounter has some sort of change, but some of them don't. It really stayed true to the original. It didn't change it too much in that it's like, oh, this isn't VOG. What do you just give us?
Yeah.
It feels very true to its original form, while being changed enough to be challenging for day one especially. And well, it's fun again, and I'm loving running it again. I really am.
I hope it lasts.
I hope it lasts. I
Really
hope
do.
hard
Especially
mode,
with hard mode.
hard mode, brand new set of weapons, brand new gear set. Like it's gonna be great. It's gonna be another day one run. So book your spot now.
Too bad it's gone already. Sorry.
So, anyone anything to add to that? Stephen, you anything to add to that?
No, just to say that Vogue is Pog. Vogue is back, baby.
I didn't expect to love it as much as I'm loving it. Like I knew I was gonna. I knew I was gonna enjoy it, but I'm loving it. Like I was just thinking that I was like, man, I fucking love Destiny. I love this game. Like I know it has good patches and bad patches, and we have good patches and bad patches with it, and that's part of the parcel. It's part of the adventure. But I just, when I look at this game, I'm like, I fucking love this game.
Yeah,
I think
really
it's
do.
like, I know it's not a new spot, but for a lot of people it is, and I think Destiny's at its best when you're in a new environment, when you're, I know the raid is the culmination of endgame, blah blah blah, that's why I like it, but when you're in this new environment, you know it's a raid, you've done hundreds of them before, but it's new, it's fresh, it's like Deepstone was at the start, that kind of died off fairly quickly, but just in terms of like just the setting of it, I think that's something that I kind of pick on, and I'm kind of like, I get excited when I know this is new, this is fresh, this is something that I couldn't do last week, you know. Just a personal thing.
I think the very last thing just to touch on before we wrap up on VOG and go watch the Horizon Forbidden West thing 40 minutes late is, I'm putting my neck out there. I am 99% sure that the entire Vault of Glass is a Vex simulation.
Yeah, you said.
Oh, definitely.
If you like, there's multiple things that make me believe it. Like me and Steve were talking about it. That the Oracles obviously play the Savathûn song, so that's very telling. I think straight away that it's Korea, that's doing this. The reason we're going in, we don't know. You can speculate that, but also if you're watching when you're in the spaces, you've got the same kind of lines that are in the tower, and especially if you get marked by an Oracle. If you're marked by an Oracle in D1, I'm pretty sure your screen turned to yellowy green, and you had to go cleanse. If you get marked by an Oracle in D2, you get that weird Vex effect around you, which makes me believe that it's the same simulation. It's a giveaway that's a simulation. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am.
No, I think it makes sense because the thing that Savathûn and the Vex cannot ever predict is our paracausality, our abilities. And what better way to build a system where you can learn how to predict Guardians than put them in a simulation where they're testing their abilities on a known quantity that's slightly changed? Because even like in the lore, Savathûn gets off on confusion. And that's why there's a lot of confusion going on in the tower at the moment. You've got even the future war cult stuff going on. So that's just feeding Savathûn's power.
Well,
so
you know about that, don't you? With
Huh?
the future war cult, and that on one of the weapons there's binary code, and when you translate the binary code, you get letters, and the letters are the musical notes of Savathûn's song. Like, it's fucking insane, man.
Yeah.
It's all to come. It's all to come.
I would not be surprised if this was applied by Savathûn to learn. Because think about when Quaria was in first, like they got a throne room to mimic Oryx to find out how Oryx was taking. What better way to find out how we use our supers and our abilities than to put us in a simulation and run that over and over again?
I do think that's part of it. I think the other part of it is that Savathûn wants us to get stronger. Because for whatever her reasons are, but she wants us to get stronger. Sword logic, blah blah blah. I'm not a lore person, so I won't get into it. But yeah,
it makes sense when you put it like that.
And it's also a reason for why it was brought back. I think it will be over time. The new expunge mission that came out. I won't get into leaks, but we're probably going to fight Quaria at the very end of it. that's what it's heading towards, that it is Korea. That we're going to fight on the final week of that mission. If you haven't done that mission yet, by the way, go do it, Stephen. It's fucking fantastic.
I've done it, yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking fantastic. But yeah, it's all very interesting where we're going. Last question for both of you. Just real quick before we do it. I don't need a reason
real quick,
why.
20 minutes ago.
No, don't need a reason why. Out of the 3 Destiny 1 raids that are still in the vault, which one would you bring back? Crota's End, King's Fall, or Wrath of the Machine?
King's Fall. That was my first proper raiding experience in terms of I know I'm capable of
He can't
this.
help himself, Steve.
I want to run this.
Yeah.
That's it.
King's Fall as well.
Yeah. I think I'd say King's Fall as well. I think in terms of the story and where it's progressing, it makes the most sense. And then Wrath of the Machine later on, but King's Fall first.
Yeah.
What can't I help myself with?
Giving a reason for it.
Yeah.
Fine. Right, we're not doing news this week. There's plenty of news this week. I'll put some links in the description below for the news, but I'm not going to go into the news this week because we need to move on to this. I'll give a quick rundown. Final Fantasy / Dark Souls, Brilliant Diamond, Shine and Pearl release date, Legends of Arceus release date, Nintendo Switch Pro probably coming this year, Xbox and Bethesda showcase on June 13th. PlayStation Plus June games came out. Star Wars Squadron's part of it. Uncharted 4 coming to PC, and we're gonna go watch Uncharted Horizon Forbidden West. That's the quickest news I've ever done. Free games at the moment is Among Us on Epic Game Store, and that's crap. So yeah, I'm gonna stream this into you guys. I'm gonna stream it into you guys so you can watch it. And then I will put it over so it's nice and shiny for the people watching at home. So I'm starting this. It's at 20 seconds. If you guys want to start 20 seconds on your own end, just so it's not dodgy.
You're not watching it on yours, huh?
It's up to you if you want to watch it on mine or if you want to watch it
I'm watching it on yours, huh?
on your own.
Yeah,
That's fine. Be quite funny when this 15 seconds ends that it's gonna be 2 more minutes.
Yeah.
It's not. I watched the first 10 seconds. That's just fine.
Just for what it's worth, we won't do like an after talk on this because we are getting late. So we'll just watch this, react to it, talk about it for a minute, and then close shop.
Yep.
I think the last thing anyone wanted from Horizon, considering how frightening those some of those dinosaurs were in the first one, was sharks.
Oh god, don't say that. Jesus.
Robo sharks.
Hi everyone, my name is Matthijs de Jonge. I'm the game director on Horizon Forbidden West. Last year we revealed our ambitious new project, and since then the team has continued to make great progress on the development of the game.
Really weird that they muted
We are very excited and honored to give you an update in this state of play. And in the countdown video leading up to this moment, you have already seen glimpses of the Forbidden West. But now we have something truly special for you. Almost 14 minutes of gameplay captured on PlayStation 5. And you don't have to wait
14
minutes of gameplay captured on PlayStation 5. And you don't have to wait any longer. Let's get right
up
to
there
it.
now, though.
Yeah.
It's synced up again.
Give it to me, baby.
So stunning. Really. It's in fairness that the first one was a stunning looking game as well.
Yeah.
Can you just hear okay?
Yep.
Easy, easy. It's okay. You're safe now. Here.
They got rid of their weird glassy-eyed look and weird facial features.
Wait.
So much better already.
Where's Erend?
Ambush. Ruins are crawling with raiders. They hit our camp hard. We ran and they chased us down. Aaron was away from camp. Scouting. I bet he's still out there.
What was that?
Raiders got machines on their side. Claw Striders. You should go after Aaron. If they find him before you do, who knows what they'll do to him?
No, you're injured. I have to...
Don't worry about me. I'll make my own way out. Get going.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are raiders doing in these ruins?
It looks stunning, doesn't it?
I hope Aaron is okay.
Yeah.
Give us a nice camera spin there, please. I'm sure it'll be 4K 30 or 1080 60. Or performance 60, quality 30. Looks stunning.
Uh-oh.
That's terrifying.
Isn't it? Fucking saws for lips.
Hey, it's Chris Pratt.
Raiders? Riding machines?
Fixing stasis.
Better be careful. There might be more. Yep, another one. I need to get clear.
That's cool.
That's
That was close. I can't shake him.
I like the intensity.
Up we go.
Same. I hope it's kind of less open worldy than the first one. That makes sense.
yeah.
Like more linear story driven stuff than traversal stuff.
Way out is down. More machines. Better go under.
Motherfucker.
Oh, don't mind me.
It's always a bigger fish. Don't forget it.
Current's strong here.
Ah, let's go.
Wow. So beautiful, it really is.
Just the light in there is
Yeah, the light
like
is
just the
incredible. Look at
refraction
that.
through the
Look at that.
surface.
Ray tracing's overrated though, said John on Facebook.
John has a PS3.
Yeah. Yeah, game development, like in terms of realism, has really just got to the stage where how can they do much better than this?
Yeah.
I'm not just the ones you slaughtered.
But they will. They always do.
When they come looking for me, there's gonna be trouble.
There's John.
There's John.
Oh, John.
You guys wouldn't be laughing if I had my hammer.
Enough! Get moving!
They're playing this on quality mode if there is a quality mode, performance mode. Quite clear to see.
Tremor tusk and a loudmouth ocelot.
Which one's uglier?
Loot the camp. Make it look like bandits were here. Then we'll head for the old bridge and meet up with the others.
Look at the way the grass moves against her.
Yeah.
So brilliant.
This must be Aaron's camp.
Reminds me of Ghost of
Raiders made
Tsushima.
short work of it.
Yeah.
Just for the vibrance.
The soundtrack's really cool as well. It's very
Aztec or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're really going for that
Jungle feel.
was it the West? No, from Lord of the Rings. What are they?
Take you out.
The Dunedain.
No.
That's it. Really?
The ones with the Oliphants.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, it's Dunedain.
Was it?
Pretty sure it was.
You think you can hurt me?
No.
Yeah, I do.
Definitely Duracell.
Definitely Duracell.
All right, back to the hunt. Raiders said they were
Haradrim.
heading for the old bridge.
Origin.
Maybe I can cut
Wouldn't
them
have thought
off. Better get to higher ground. Find a way.
San Francisco?
Yeah, it's San Francisco, I think. Pretty sure it is.
West.
Yeah, there's the
There's the bridge.
It's not
There's the
Galway
bridge.
anyway.
I think I know a way to get there fast. Gotta be careful.
It's the men of Numenor, wasn't it?
Don't remember.
That should do it.
We're on my side now. But
Yeah, she really is Chris Pratt.
Help's on the way, Aaron.
Aloy?
Aloy! Watch out! They are
kind of don't want them to show us how she takes it down.
Same, I hope they don't.
Aaron, stay put! I'll handle this!
I have her!
Got ya!
Man down!
Fire cannon!
Gotta keep moving.
Bring us around!
Taking course! Fire now! That must have hurt! Fire! Fall back!
That's down.
You hit it with that fudge. Ah, there it is.
Oh, here he comes.
Bring us around!
Time to hit back.
Get me an ace! We're under fire!
I like the destructible elements of it.
Yeah, you can
Same
see it
hard
being
spot,
worn
yeah.
down gradually.
Yeah. It's fantastic. Almost like a Dark Souls boss, Steve. Oh, it's a Legend of Zelda-like game because she's got a float ability.
Oh, didn't like that, did you?
This will be played on easy.
Time to finish this.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I was expecting it to look fantastic, but it's really blown me away how good it looks.
Yeah, I think that's on everyone's list now.
Ah, it definitely is. I hope it's less map marker completion than the first
I'll you
one.
another one.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
That was the only real complaint about it, just there was a lot of map. But that was the
This
period of
time,
map marker games.
I have a present for you.
I just want more
Yeah.
games to be like God of War in that kind of linear aspect. That's
It's
all.
like it's linear, but it's not linear.
Right
Yeah.
before the raid.
It's like it tricks
You have the
into
option
thinking,
to explore.
Yeah, it tricks you into thinking it's not linear.
Let's see where this thing will take us.
Just for story-driven things like that, it's. I feel you dive into a lot more than doing your kind of bullshitty side things.
You always said a storm was coming.
Yeah. And it's
The
almost
facial
here.
animations are so much better than the
Yeah.
first one. Like, and that was like a mid-generation PS4 game, I think. The animations and facial animations that are nailed on.
So there you have it.
Fantastic.
The first gameplay footage from Horizon Forbidden West running on PlayStation 5. We hope you are as excited about it as we are.
That was brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah, that was really good.
That-
Give us an release date.
While we have you here, we would like to spotlight some of the new elements you have just seen in our gameplay.
No, we just want a release
To
date,
help
buddy.
with that, please welcome Ben McCaw.
Give me that
narrative director
November.
on Horizon
Give me that
Forbidden West.
November release date.
Thanks, Matthijs, and hello to all our viewers.
What's up?
Horizon Forbidden West is set 1,000 years in Earth's future after a global catastrophe.
And then just long
People
left.
live
look.
on in primitive tribes, but they're no longer the dominant species. Giant
Venusaur!
animal-like machines now roam the land, and they are extremely dangerous. The machines aren't the only threat in the Forbidden West. A strange red blight is spreading across the land, and it won't be
Steven.
long before it strangles
Steven.
all life. Aloy, our hero, is the only one who can stop the blight. But to do that, she and her companions will have to comb through the ruins of the old world to find the technology they need.
Good story
In this
direction.
quest,
Yeah.
Aloy has sent her loyal friend Erend into the remains
It's
of
not
San
generic.
Francisco to find
Yeah.
a crucial piece of technology. Erend encounters raiders from a rebel faction of the Tenakth tribe. They are vicious fighters, but even worse, they've acquired the power to override machines. To rescue Erend, Aloy winds up fighting them, but first, she must cross the ruins to reach their camp.
We face a lot of obstacles as we traverse the ruins of San Francisco. To overcome them, we've given Aloy some great new tools. Using the focus scanner, you can highlight spots that allow
that's
free
good.
climbing anywhere in the open world. The pullcaster speeds up climbing and can get you quickly out of trouble. The shield wing allows you to safely descend from great heights or surprise enemies from above. With the
What I
diving
like
mask,
about
you
those
can
things
stay
is how
submerged
quickly
as
they
long as you
happen.
like, and
Yeah.
take your time
You
to
don't
plan a
have
path
to-
around amphibious machines.
It's reactionary
Boost
rather
through
than
strong underwater
planning to do.
currents. And to speed up overland travel, a variety of machines can be overridden and used as mounts or in combat. Combat in Horizon Forbidden West puts a strong emphasis on tactics and player choice. For close-range combat, the spear is an excellent option. There's a range of combos that have different uses and effects. Valor Surges add a unique set of special abilities, one of which can be used to knock back nearby enemies. The spear can be charged to create a high damage effect that can take down even the stronger enemies.
Combat looks really good.
A wide array of different weapons is quickly accessible via the weapon wheel. A
Very
slingshot
fluid
with
and deliberate.
adhesive grenades to temporarily stall machines. Bows with arrows that can strip armor and expose weak spots. A powerful launcher that fires spikes that explode on impact. Smoke bombs that temporarily blind enemies. Or you can pick up weapons shot off from machines. The full game has many more unique weapons, and each of them can be upgraded.
Helped us a bit more
workbench,
UI
but more on that
in terms
another
of
time.
sending you in that direction. Than
Player will
obviously
need to be
this is just
smart and
showvisualizing
creative
the
and use all of the combat
visuals.
options we have shown to deal with a large variety of deadly machines. Sunwings in the sky, Claw Striders and Tremor Tusks on land, Snapmaws in the water, even the seemingly harmless burrowers that you saw briefly swim by. They are all dangerous, and even more so when overridden by human rebels.
We've only scratched the surface of the rebel threat, as Aloy will fight them in many forms throughout the game. And to defeat them, she must explore the open world to uncover the secret behind their power, and how that secret is related to her quest to stop the Blight. And this is just one of the mysteries she will unravel as her journey through the Forbidden West takes many twists and turns.
It's time to wrap it up. We will have more updates closer to launch, and everyone here at Guerrilla can't wait for you to experience the full game. Thank you for watching.
E3, maybe.
Maybe.
Like, I don't think that was trying to sell anybody. That was just like, I don't know. I think it's an established enough title that
Yeah.
you know it's gonna look good. You know it's gonna play well. You know it's gonna have that deep story.
Yeah, but a release date would have been nice.
Yeah, makes me think it's more than a year away then.
Nah, it's definitely not more than a year away. It's maximum a year away. I reckon it's out this year. I reckon
I'd say
November.
March.
I'm thinking March.
I don't know, like following what like the likes of Jason Schreier and that up and saying, and Jeff Grubb, they seem to think it's coming out this year. So we'll see.
It'd be nice, obviously.
Obviously it could be delayed, but I reckon it's this year. I reckon they'll hold it for whatever their E3 showcases. They'll announce it at that because it's a massive hitter. So yeah, it looks great. It looks really great.
Oh, it looks so good.
I can't wait to buy it and never finish it.
And it is like, do you know what? I actually want to go back and finish the first one now, but actually
I have it
start
on
it
PC.
over.
Yeah, I wouldn't play it on. Did it get a 60 FPS console upgrade? I don't think it did.
No, it never did.
PC is up to 120 hertz, I think, or uncapped. So.
Yeah, I'm half tempted to get on PC now and just run through it.
I have it installed. I just haven't played it.
Yeah, the story's great.
Right, we need to wrap this up anyway because it's been
Go
a
on.
long one. Obviously, it was going to be a bit longer because of watching that, but it went even longer than we expected. So yeah, that's been our discussion on Vaulted Glass. If you want to give it a shot, you know where we are. We're happy to bring people through it. We've done plenty already.
Until we get our emblem, obviously.
Until you get your emblem and Stephen gets his emblem. I have my shiny emblem. But yeah, if people want to run it, give us a shout. We've got a very active group. More than happy to bring people through it. Yeah. Horizon looks great.
Yeah. Horizon looks class. Vog is class.
As always, I've been Kev. Thank you for listening.
My name has been Stephen.
What's
every time I hear my name?
Did you chain
it? Say it.
I will not get
Stephen, do your thing. Ah! That's what it was. It was hilarious.
Dylan, were you there when Stephen? Were you there when I was explaining an encounter to someone and Stephen put a well of radiance through the fucking block on Atheon?
We nearly went through the whole thing without you mentioning that. Come on.
No, I don't think.
You know how I have a real pet hate when I'm explaining something to somebody, and someone who knows how to do it goes and starts the encounter by accident or something. It's like,
yeah, it's just being antsy. That's all.
Yeah. Anyway,
But anyway,
I honestly
yeah,
didn't think that would happen.
wrapping up.
End it. Boom. Done. Yeah.
Sign
See you
off.
next week.
Thanks for tuning in. See you
Bye.
next week.
Bye. Hopefully that.
I'm blind. I'm blind.
You gotta come out. Just follow it if you can.
I'm sorry. I'm just jumping keys.
Nice. Watch for detainment, guys.
Thank you.
Detainment.
Yeah, got it. I'm out.
You have 10 seconds. Dump that damage in. 7.
GG's golden gun.
Let's go.
Fuck.
Let's fucking go.
How did we start that one? I said this is the fucking one, boys.
I have it on clip if you did. I've recorded that whole run. Let's fucking go, boys. Let's fucking go.
Fuck.
Well done, lads.
Just up here. He's got a special thing up here. Hey, Hazen.
Oh, Brightest Revenge. Hazen.